We are back with the McKnight Report. We're really excited today because we're at the home of Donald Baker. Now, Donald and Ronald Baker are photographers, and they have just been capturing a lot of really great images over the years. How long have you guys been doing this kind of work?
So this is our 37th year.
Fantastic. And now, do you normally work together, or are you independent, or how does it
We're
go?
independent, but we have two different companies, but we both work together on occasion for various events.
I see, I see. And are you still taking pictures?
Still taking pictures. That's all we do.
Now, are you both based out of Washington, D.C. here?
Well, actually, we grew up in Washington, D.C., but I'm here in Fort Washington. He's in Largo. And a lot of the events that we do, there's some that intersect where we end up doing them together, but most of we do a lot of individual clients.
Now, Fort Washington and Largo, those are both Washington suburbs, is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so how did you even get into photography in the first place?
Well, I started back in high school, trying to meet girls since I wasn't an athlete. So basically, at lunchtime, I would take pictures. My mother got me a camera with some S&H or top value trading stamps back in '63, and so by the time we got to high school, I would take pictures at lunchtime of the girls and go back and serve my paper out for Washington Post, get the pictures out the next week. That's how long you had to wait back then. And then give the girls the pictures at lunchtime.
You said so many things in that one sentence. First of all, did you say you got the camera with trading stamps?
Trading stamps. You wouldn't know anything about that.
I think I know a little bit about them. I may have seen them on TV or something like that.
That was way back.
So do I hear you saying that you were the first one who decided to start taking pictures?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then after all my friends stopped laughing at me for trying to meet girls with the camera, they started buying cameras. My brother one and my best friend the other.
Yes, I did. Cheerleaders were a lot of fun to photograph and come back because the old jocks, they had the sports side on their side, but showing pictures, people like pictures of themselves. And that gave us the impetus to continue taking photographs on a serious basis.
Now, so obviously you did it throughout high school. What made you realize, hey, I can actually make a living at this?
Well, actually, when people started requesting our services and said they were willing to pay for it. So that said, okay, we have an opportunity to do something. Let's get serious about the craft. And that was very important to be serious about the craft. Learning about cameras, learning about film back then, and lighting. So those things were very important. So took courses and some number of other things that we did, and got better at what we were doing.
So now when you said let's get serious about the craft, did you decide to go to college and study this, or was this education that you received on your own? What did you do to get serious?
Education on your own,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of courses that you can take, correspondence courses, you can buy books, and really photography is a trial by error type thing. You can read all the books you want until you start shooting and realizing that you overexposed, underexposed, overdeveloped or underdeveloped, then you really don't get a gist of how that works.
Okay.
So I attended University of District of Columbia. Actually, when it first started out, it was called Federal City College.
Okay.
And I took photography and cinema photography, filmmaking there at the time. But I had already obviously been in it, but I wanted to kind of expand on my knowledge.
Sure. Now, how did you grow your business, though? I mean, this clientele that you have is very impressive. What did you do?
Well, actually, we started during the Congressional Black Caucus, and we would take pictures of congressional members, and then we would send them the photograph, and they would send us very nice letters thanking us for the photographs. And ultimately, one of the congressional members, Ron Dellums from California, contacted us to do some work with his family.
I see.
And it kind of grew from there. Walter Fauntleroy, who's pictured behind you, congressman from Washington, D.C., actually
Right.
a delegate.
Mm-hmm.
And that made all the difference in the world, because once these people start singing your praises, then others who may not be in those positions, but they still need photography.
Right. So basically it started as political photography.
Well, no, I started, the first picture I ever had published was in the Afro newspaper, and it was of Miss Black D.C. in 1975, Avis Harrell.
You keep dropping these historical bombs. Now, the Afro newspaper.
Yeah, that was my first picture published. Unfortunately, the credit was given to the staff photographer. So I learned to make sure I had my name on the back of the picture.
Oh.
And then the next opportunity I got was in 1976 when I was called to cover Van McCoy Day. Van McCoy was a Grammy Award winning writer and producer for The Hustle,
yes.
right? And produced for a lot of great artists. And I covered Van McCoy Day in D.C. and we developed a good friendship. And then from there, everything was referrals. I think the following week after I did Van McCoy, I got a chance to work with Don King doing the Muhammad Ali fight, and it just snowballed. You know, so it's mostly referrals, just one thing after another. You know, and that's basically what our business has been built on. Us being able to deliver and people being able to remember our names when opportunities came up.
Now, would it be fair to say that you did more of the entertainment photos and you did more of the political photos, or is that distinction kind of meaningless?
No, it is meaningless because it's quite a mix. And really, Washington, D.C. being a political town, but it's also an entertainment town because all the major artists at some point in time will come here, be it the Kennedy Center Honors or concerts.
Thanks for coming back, and we are here again with Donald and Ronald Baker. These pictures are just stunning. We're looking at the pictures. We just love the imagery, and it seems like you really captured the essence of your subjects. How do you do that?
Well, I think it's because we're not paparazzi, so we're not like jumping up out of the bushes, you know, or grabbing people and you know, surprising them. They're actually looking into the camera. They want to take the picture, and we show them, you know, the proper professional respect and proper decorum in asking for a picture. So you do get that relaxed, and I want to take a picture look from your clients.
That's exactly how they look, like I want to take a picture. Is there something that you say to them in particular? Is there anything that you do?
Well, actually what we try to do is make them feel comfortable with us. First of all, they know that the picture that's going to be taken is going to be one that's positive. It's not going to be used in some negative sense. So therefore, they feel relaxed, and then that carries over to other people that they refer to us, is that these guys are interested in us as individuals and not as us as a story. That's why we have a lot of political clients and business clients for that very reason.
But some of those pictures are actually action pictures. Like I saw one of the Jackson 5, and they're actually doing a concert. I mean, how do you do that?
Well, I got a call from their management company back in 1979, and I think it was referred to us by the late Maurice Sorrell, the photographer for Jet Magazine.
Oh.
And so basically they hired me to cover their event, and I hired my brother, and so we were there sitting down with Michael and talking about what they wanted, how they wanted us to cover it. So we were on stage back in the day, and of course Don will tell you that's a rare situation now. You can't get on stage unless you're on the video crew.
Oh, okay.
So most of the photographers are basically either backstage or out in the audience, but we were right up there with them. And so primarily we discussed what they wanted, and then we just did it, you know, from both sides of the stage.
Is it common for artists to do like a video documentary or a photo documentary of their work during a tour?
Actually, we were doing a documentary at the time. They had a film crew with them, but we weren't part of that film crew. We were hired to cover the event, that particular concert, because they were here in Washington. And so we traveled with them earlier in the day to get what Michael wanted. It was a shot that actually appeared in Ebony magazine, where Michael wanted me to stand on top of a Caterpillar forklift so that a shot of them coming out to their limousine, running out the tunnel between the fans came. And that was really dangerous, but it was the type of person Michael was. He liked that type of suspense thing, and I'm sure his brothers weren't exactly crazy about it, but they did it, and it came off good. That shot ended up in the Ebony magazine.
Wow, I think I remember that shot. Yeah. So now let me ask a stupid question. Why? I thought that when you do the videos, you could always make a photograph out of a video still. So why would someone take both a video and a photographer?
Well, because really you can't until the expansion of HD, you couldn't get the resolution and the quality. The only way you could do that is if you were shooting film. With a film camera, like a 35 millimeter film camera is used in Hollywood, you could get the clips off of that film and do good quality.
I see.
But it still wasn't the same as when you're shooting with a camera that's designed to capture the image directly on the film at that, and of course now with digital. But now you can get a 5 megapixel type, or even sometimes 8 or 10 megapixel.
Don't get too technical on us.
Okay. So you can get a good picture
Okay.
from video now, like even the camera you and your crew are using right now, you could pull and get some pretty decent prints from that.
I see. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that a lot of the politicians want that kind of a photo documentary of their work as well?
Not necessarily. If they're at an event like the Congressional Black Caucus that happens every year in Washington, they want to be seen with constituents and with other congressional colleagues. But unless they're doing something specific, for their constituents, you rarely will find that they want to be documented on a regular basis.
Okay. Now I've got a question for each of you, and we want to know, the world wants to know, what was the most pleasurable photo shoot you ever had, and what was the most challenging photo shoot you ever had? And I'm going to ask you first, Mr. Baker.
I don't know, the most pleasurable one, it's hard to say because every photo shoot, every opportunity you get to work with your camera is a pleasurable one because you're doing one thing that you love to do, you're passionate about.
Why do you love it?
It's like in the DNA. You love it because I'm a Gemini, so we're Gemini twins, so it's like we're 4 people. And so you have that passion for what it is that you do. You love getting quality results. You like getting the positive response from the clients that you not only captured it, but you did a good job. You got something in that they didn't see themselves coming. And so there's no one area, I think, or one assignment that you have that's better than the other, because the next assignment or the next opportunity is always the best opportunity.
That's a good way to put it. Would you have anything to add to that?
No, not really. I think for myself, probably the most challenging events are going to be like rallies, because you really don't know what's going to happen.
Like a political rally, maybe?
Yes, like a political rally. One in particular, and not that it was difficult, was most pleasurable, is that I had an opportunity to photograph President Obama before there was a Senator Obama.
Before he was even the senator?
Yeah, April 1st, 2003. He was actually talking to people going in line that had tickets to hear the Michigan State affirmative action case. That was April Fool's Day, 2003. Now,
was that at the Supreme Court?
That was at the Supreme Court. Now, most people didn't know of President Obama until 2004 when he spoke before the Democratic Convention.
Right.
When I saw him speaking, I said, I've seen that guy somewhere before, but I couldn't picture it. It's been 16 months. And I got a call from Tom Joyner, who did his show from there that day, asking for a few pictures. And lo and behold, first few pictures that came up were President Obama.
Wow.
And I shared that story with him when he came to the Senate in 2005 and got him to actually autograph that particular picture, because I could say, I photographed you and look where you are today.
Now I gotta ask, could you tell at that time when he was just chatting with those people that he was gonna be such a charismatic speaker?
No, but I figured he had to have a lot of guts, because there were no African Americans in that line. So he obviously was an organizer, because he spent his time going through that line individually talking to people. I had about maybe 10 seconds of video footage also. But he just stood out for a young guy to have that look of seriousness. And when he came across the street, I had just finished interviewing Judge Mathis.
Okay.
And I snapped a couple shots of Obama, and he said, I hope you got some good shots. I said, I think I did. And just forgot about it.
Wow.
And then the story I told you as it unfolded is what happened.
Wow.
So you never know who you're photographing in this town.
You never know. You never know. Now, what's it like working together as brothers? That's what I want to know.
Well, it has its challenges because we're twins, so a lot of areas we think alike, and then a lot of areas we don't. So even this exhibit presented some Ali Frazier opportunities. But we in the end, we always get it done.
Okay, all right. And how do you feel working with your brother?
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. But no, I agree with him. We have our moments, and obviously because we have a lot of different ideas that we want to put forward. So, but eventually we work it out, because the objective is to make sure that everybody has a pleasurable experience. And we hope that's what you all are having today.
Oh my goodness, yes. Whatever that synergy is, it sure does work, because you can see it in the photos. Obviously, the subjects feel comfortable working with you, and we sure had a ball being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your schedule, to interview us.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you.